Okay, on this video, we want to show you a little bit more advanced troubleshooting techniques on if you have some issues with the gun, certain things we can do to help diagnose it and extend the life of your cartridge, or give you more life out of the cartridge before you have to replace it. So one thing you may notice is, you know, some buildup, or your material seems ISO rich or B rich because you're not getting proper flow of material. So why don't you explain to them a little bit about some tools we give them and how they can use them?
Yep, nice troubleshooting tool. This piece right here. When you're doing this, hose manifold off, just have your gun like it's shown here, connect it to air. Disengage your safety so the gun can be put into spray mode. Trigger the gun with the air on, then either remove the air chuck while holding it or shut it off at your ball valve, right? So it's in the spray position. The needles, the shuttle valves are all the way forward, okay? Place this adapter piece, that grease fitting on there.
Grease fitting, right?
It is. So now it's in spray mode. Pump grease through it. If it comes out the end of your mix chamber, you know that you're restriction free. If it doesn't, then you know you have a restriction. And majority of the time it's on your A side.
But you can do it on both sides?
Yes. Same fitting, it just pops over.
And if you discover grease is coming through without any restriction, then you should troubleshoot elsewhere that the cartridge is still working fine.
Right.
But if you do find a restriction, then what can they do to the cartridge to help, you know, extend the life of the cartridge if they find a restriction?
You can soak it first off if you feel that there's heavy buildup in there. Another thing is you can remove your needles and check the condition of the needles. There could be buildup on the needles. What I would recommend is if the gun has been sitting for a while, connect air to the gun, trigger it a series of times to make sure that everything is moving freely, and then you can go and extract your needles or shuttle valves.
So we want them to use the additional air piston they get in the box and use that as a tool to remove your needles, right?
Yep.
It's going to engage the cartridge.
That yoke.
Yep.
Right, and it's real simple. So let's put it in like so, and now it's engaged. It's locked together. Pull out as straight as you can. Pull the needles out. You don't want to bend them. That's so you can access these shuttle valves. Look for buildup on the front of the needle. Sometimes you'll see it on the A side. You'll see some buildup there. You can clean that off. You may have some buildup on the shank of that needle on the outside diameter, the larger diameter. You can clean that up as well. One thing that's very important though, if you're having difficulty extracting these needles, you start putting a lot of torque load on these, you can bend these needles, especially in the smaller diameter area, that dog bone area as we call it. So do not put a bent needle back. You'll wear out your seals really quick if that occurs, if you put a bent needle or shuttle valve in there. So a quick check for that is to take one of these out, put them on a table, and just roll them. Roll them on a nice flat surface. You see them wobble as you roll it, you know that needle is bent. That shuttle valve is bent. Put that back after they're all cleaned up.
So those needles connect to the yoke. It's kind of a keyed feature. They drop into place.
It is, yeah. It's just like call it a keyhole. Just drop right down.
All right.
So,
and then using the same tool, you want to install them back into the cartridge.
Yep, carefully line them up. You want to get them nice and even, and then just push it back in.
So the depth that you reinstalled is important, right?
It is. So in this instance, I purposely push it deeper than what it should be. So the top surface of that protrusion on the yoke should be flush with that surface there and that check housing.
So if you do install it too deep, why don't you show them the issues they'll see on their gun?
So in this case now, when you try to couple your gun back together,
you can't actually lock the cartridge into place.
It won't lock in, right? At that point.
So at this point, you have two options, right? You can use the tool to pull the needles out.
You can pull them out to make them level. That's pretty simple. You can just pull them out like that. So there it's. And now it is back together. I can show you another method. Let me push these deeper on purpose. Push them in too deep. Again, you can see it won't. I can't get it to turn to engage. Second option would be just quickly pop your back air cap off. I'm sorry, safety cap off. Push your air piston all the way forward and hold it. Now you can engage and keep pushing back, and now it'll line up.
So then the air piston did the work for you. It actually positioned the needles in the right location?
It did, yep. And then when you turn your air back on, needle will go back. Throw that back on.
All right, so all that was in an effort to extend the life of your cartridge. We don't want you to dispose of the cartridge if there's a slight buildup on the needles. We want you to clean those needles off. The seals and the integrity of the cartridge is still intact. There's no reason it can't spray more material if you just clean those needles up, right? So the needles are a repair part. We'll sell the needles as a replacement. The yoke is a replacement, and really trying to help you out and extend the life of your cartridge. I think that wraps up this video. We're going to take a trip into our spray booth and show you some shutdown procedures and both daily and an extended shutdown on how to maintain your gun.